You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Low Winter Sun After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Low Winter Sun After Show.
Hey everybody, Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another Low Winter Sun after show. It is a very, very special installment. We have a special interview with Nickola Shreli, who is one of Damon's gang members on the show. He plays Gus on the show.
Howdy.
Welcome.
Howdy.
I am, as always, Matt Lieberman, and joining me tonight is the fantastic Stef Z.
What's up?
Yo, it's weird to be doing this show on a Wednesday instead of a Sunday, but it's also really cool because we are breaking in the brand new Studio C.
Studio C popping the cherry.
Absolutely.
And it's like a double dose this week. We get a double dose of Low Winter Sun.
Yeah.
I'm kind of all for that.
Double dose of Low Winter Sun, double dose of guests, which is super, super awesome. Nickola, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's a sweet spot up in here.
Thank you.
Voyage.
Thank you.
We up in here.
You can sing if you'd like.
Yeah.
Nah,
Singing is totally
I don't-
You're
I don't
allowed to
sing.
sing.
I don't
Dancing.
We
sing.
encourage it.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Oh,
Maybe
we will
later.
be there.
We'll be there. We'll be there. Just give us 20 minutes. Give us 20 minutes. We'll give you the world.
You
Yeah.
guys are fun.
So where we last left off in the series, you guys are about to go to war.
Yeah.
With Papa T, Reverend Lowdown.
Yeah.
Skilos is going to get back in the picture, it seems like, and we have a casualty.
Yeah.
Michael is down.
My homeboy, James Harvey Ward,
Yeah.
who plays Michael, just got
He got clipped.
he
He
got
got
clipped. He did a great job. It was intense stuff, but kind of goes with the territory, you know.
Yeah.
So essentially, you know, we're trying to come up. And you know that world is a very segregated world, and you know, as Papa T said, he didn't, you know, pay his taxes, and you know, it's good. It's really good. I mean, I don't want to talk too much because it's so interwoven. I don't want to ruin anything, but it's getting good.
You're allowed.
Yeah.
Oh, I am. Okay.
Well, no spoiler.
Yeah,
but unless you say spoiler. But
Okay, is that how you do it? Is that the
kinda,
protocol around here?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I
We
act-
play by our own rules.
Yeah, we
Nice.
do. We like to
I
break
like
'em
your
too.
hair. You guys both got great hair.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's your own real stuff.
Yeah. Real quick, I have a question about that. The
Sure.
whole paying taxes thing.
Right.
Like, why is that? Is that like legit? Just paying your what does that really translate to? Because you wouldn't think that. You know what I mean? Like, I know people who run companies and they don't completely pay their taxes, so to speak. They'll do some stuff under the table or this or that. Like, why is that so important? Or what does that really
I mean,
mean?
paying-
Like, you know, like it's
Yeah.
clearly it's not like
Paying
paying the government,
taxes
but like what is
Is
like paying your dues or
it's an urban street term.
okay.
You know, when you're talking Detroit specifically, again, Detroit is a very segregated, you know, town.
Right.
You have black, you have white, you have Middle Eastern, you have Greek, you have Italian, you have Albanian, and there are legitimate territories as far as the underworld. And this is, you know, speaking for real,
Right.
outside of Low Winter Sun. And so, you know, when Damon, James Van Sullen's character, is trying to set up shop, you know, dealing with Papa T and Reverend Lowdown, it's basically, hey, you gotta take care of us.
Right.
So he essentially was trying to be cheap and trying to do like a one-shot deal, and that obviously didn't, you know, go over well, hence the double cross and hence
Right.
Michael's death. So paying taxes is more or less, you know, it's just a term. Like, hey, if I'm going to set up shop across the street from the studio, you guys are going to say, yo, what's going on? And,
Yeah.
you know,
It's almost like Reverend Lowdown and Papa T are governing that area.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if you're gonna do something in our area, we're the government. You need to pay us our taxes.
Well, flip the script. Picture a black crew wanting to go into Greektown with Skelos.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
he would want the taxes or his his
Cut.
money. Yeah, his
Yeah.
cut.
And Damon also wasn't entirely forthcoming with Reverend Lowdown about his connections to Skelos.
Yeah, he left a gray zone,
Yeah.
kind of.
It's funny too because I feel like the way that Damon's character is, he's leaving a gray zone, but some of it is intentional, but some of it is just because he doesn't know. Like he's not prepared, he's not organized.
Yeah.
You feel like he doesn't really know what he's doing.
He's winging it a little
yeah,
bit.
Yeah.
He's winging
so
it.
He's winging it a lot a bit.
Yeah.
In way over his head.
Totally. But is it all intentional? I mean, I think he wants it to be intentional, so he looks cool, but he really has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like this kamikaze state of mind, like, roll the dice.
Right.
And it's interesting,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's the kind of person he's fueled by this intense inferiority complex, right?
Right.
His father was kicking up to Skelos his whole life and never made anything of himself. And Damon's like, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be the exact opposite. And you know what? I'm going to be Skelos
Right.
without paying his dues, without paying his taxes, without really learning anything. He thinks he's owed all this stuff.
Yeah, entitlement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very, very entitled.
Yeah.
And
it's almost like he's doing it just for that reason alone. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he has a passion or like a desire for this power. Like it's more like he's doing it to prove a point rather than for the reasons that someone else might do something like this, like power or like
Oh, totally.
Granted, there's power involved, but it's like it's more of like cut off your nose to spite your face. Is what I
no,
feel
it's
it
not
is.
like I don't think he necessarily cares about being the boss man and like being
No.
able to make decisions. He cares about the trappings that come with that and the fact that people would then have to respect him.
Exactly.
They'd have to look up to him.
Yeah.
Now I wanna talk to you about. So Gus has been he's kind of a loose cannon, like led by a loose cannon. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you were the first one to pop off
Yeah.
a shot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
you started it.
you
man.
started it,
Yeah.
man. You got Michael killed.
It's your
What's up with
fault.
that?
I mean, resistance, I mean, somebody had to, put up
Yeah.
a little fight.
Right.
And I think Gus is essentially, just a hard-headed loyalist.
Yeah.
You know?
And do you feel that Gus's intention was like a protection thing, or was it more just an anger thing?
Response.
It was just
Absolutely,
response.
it was just
Right.
response.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't. There's people that I know a lot of Gus's, but some people think about consequences.
Right.
When I was coming up, I would think before I acted.
Right.
But then you got hardheads that went the other way.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Gus is. He just
Right.
doesn't know any better.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's a soldier, you
Yeah.
know. He's definitely he's one of the rank and file, and he doesn't think anything through. But also on the same note, I feel like he's also still really pissed about what happened to his hand,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he'd
You could say
love
that.
he'd love to get some of those guys and knock them down a peg.
I mean,
You were
it's
like the
it's
guinea
on.
pig. You
I
were
mean,
like
it's
the
it's
show.
on, and I think as the weeks progress, we'll see the result of that. But again, Gus is down for Damon's vision,
Mm-hmm.
where again, as we see the weeks progressing, some other people are not wanting to take that ride. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert. And but yeah, I mean, I got my hand fried.
Yeah,
And
Literally.
it was pretty gruesome.
it was
Yeah.
it was whack, but it was all for the cause,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, now with Michael gone, Michael was kind of like he was the second in command.
Yeah.
He was Damon's right-hand man. He'd give Damon, all of his advice, his counsel. Does Gus's role in the organization start to change with this
I
big death?
think the onus is more on Nick. The
Mhm.
shifting of now Nick becoming more
More central.
not only central but actually focusing a little bit, where Nick is like before when we've seen his character evolve and introed, he was just a weirdo. He was a wacko.
Right.
With the post-traumatic stress, and now he gets very level-headed. So it's more about Nick, and Gus is always kind of the anchor.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Gus is is thinking. You know, it's
Right.
more about playing off of what Damon wants to do.
Yeah.
But again, as the season progresses, spoiler alert, Gus has kind of got to hold it down while Nick and Damon figure some things out. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And I think it's very interesting as well that Michael was the one that died, because we actually interviewed James last week.
nice.
And he made it a point to say that his character never did drugs,
Yeah.
never had a gun. Like, his character was like, you know, the grounded one
Yeah,
of the bunch.
absolutely.
And I don't think any other character was like that. Like, Nick's kind of crazy. You're a loose cannon. Like, everyone's kind of got their thing.
Yeah.
And Michael was like the grounded, you know, for lack of a better word, honest character. And he's gone now. So I think that might have been a turn as well.
Well, that's, you know, this show is it's very well written, and
Yeah.
it's about real people that are hit with choices and shit consequences and vice versa, you know. And I think that's true to life. It's a very real show. And
Right.
you know, why do bad things happen to good people? And
Right.
and again, it goes with, I know so many people. I'm originally from Detroit, and you know, and I had many conversations with Chris Mundy, the writer, and you know, the showrunner, and it's kind of like art imitating life, where I know so many people that were just kind of caught situationally, that went to jail, caught a case, got shot, et cetera, where, you know, with Michael, you know, maybe had he left a couple years prior to pursue a real career, or, you know, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
So you're from Detroit. Did they find you locally, or were you out here when you got cast?
You know, it's an interesting story. I was here, I'd just come off Hostel 3, I was in LA,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard about this series, and I was so homesick. And it obviously was great material, and I wanted to be involved. But LA, the casting wouldn't see me out here. They said that I didn't have the right look, and blah, 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 blah. So through my kind of Detroit film mafia underworld ties out there, I got in front of Ernest Dickerson and Chris Mundy, and you know, we met, and I read, and they dug me, and it worked out perfect, because I got to sleep in my own bed, and I still have house and family and stuff out there.
Yeah.
So it was awesome.
Yeah.
It really was.
I did. I did a little research today, and I saw that you were born and raised in Detroit. And like, one of my big questions is, do you think it does justice to the feel of Detroit, this show? Because we feel it's honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously biased, but no,
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
But that's
you're
why-
not biased. You're educated. You
Yes.
know.
I will say that it was one of the first in a TV or a film medium that really hit it right. In Detroit, it's so hard to write. Like, as an insider, like we talked about Sprague earlier.
Right.
You know, I try to put myself in her shoes as an actress coming from LA to Detroit. But as an insider, used to Hollywood stuff that's sugar-coated, and then actually seeing real Detroit for Detroit, I think they did a good job, because it's very hard. Again, it's very segregated. You have to kind of make everybody happy. So
Yeah.
Right.
I think the way that they balanced, you know, the main line with the cops, that's very real. I mean, there are dirty cops and dirty politicians in Detroit, and they're hitting it out the
Right.
park. But the whole kind of Greek skelos, I mean, there were and are real skeloses, and
Right.
the feel, the whole vibe, the way that it looks, and all of that. I mean, it's good. I mean,
Yeah.
they did a good job with it.
Because you've been in other things, like, weren't you in like 8 Mile? I think.
No, I wasn't
Oh.
in it. I worked on the film.
But so another
Yeah.
film that was, you know, about Detroit,
yeah.
filmed in Detroit.
Sure.
So was it comparable to something like that, or was this like one of the best things true to Detroit?
I mean, 8 Mile was about one specific kind of, you know, the underground freestyle rap scene that was kind of born out of
Right.
that whole, you know,
Detroit.
great Royce the 5'9", Eminem era of
Right.
the
Yeah.
mid-'90s. And that was just about that, where, you know, Low Winter Sun is a lot more, it's a lot more open. It's about the city,
Right.
where I feel like the city is a character. And where 8 Mile was just more about this one character and a struggle, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to compare.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of awesome though that you are born and raised in Detroit. You know,
Yeah.
being able to work on projects about your home city. You know,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
no
I
doubt.
think that's kind of awesome.
No doubt. I mean, it was such a, I mean, just driving to work every day and like passing by old street. I mean, we did on one forget what episode. I think the last episode we filmed at this chop shop, and I knew the owner's son from
That's
the
awesome.
spot Lush, this Hamtramck. It's a little area of Detroit, and a friend of his had gotten into a scuffle with a friend of mine, and now he's like, "Oh, you're acting now?" So we hugged, and it was like squash.
Right.
So yeah, it was funny. So a lot of that happened, but I feel like you need that. If you're gonna do a real show, you need to feel like you're in a real place. I mean, as an actor, you need to feel it. I mean, that wouldn't have popped off had we done it in Toronto for
Absolutely.
Detroit. Yeah.
No, the atmosphere is just palpable, and it's what sets the show apart. There's so many crime dramas, and many of them feature dirty cops and feature criminals and so on. It's
visceral.
Look,
it's visceral.
You're plugged right into that whole scene, and it makes it just that much more entertaining and that much more just grittier.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I have a very important question
Sure.
for you, and it might rock the foundations of your soul.
All right.
You
Can't
ready?
ask for my
Are you
social
ready?
security number, man.
American or Lafayette?
Uh-oh.
Lafayette.
Lafayette?
Yeah.
All right.
Honest.
Yeah.
That's a good question, though.
Yeah. Is it? I've
You know,
heard
the
it's,
irony of Coney Islands in
Detroit.
There's literally in Greeks and Albanians. I'm Albanian, I'm first generation Albanian, but we have a monopoly on this Coney Island restaurant/diner craze, whatever you want to call it. But nobody, even in Detroit, has been able to answer me with a straight face is why we call these diners Coney Islands. I've been asking this question since I was a little kid because Coney Island is obviously associated with Brooklyn,
Yeah.
where when you strip it down, it's the diner. But every mile, half mile, every corner is a Coney Island, and it's just it's a hot dog diner.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's for Nathan's hot dogs on Coney Island, but those aren't necessarily served with chili and onions.
Yeah.
So so you're right. I have no idea where that comes from.
I don't know. And there's a Greek guy, Jimmy Giftis, the great Jimmy Giftis, who owns National Coney Island and National Chili Company, and all of the Coney Islands in the Metro Detroit area get all of their chili for their conies from this guy. And I asked him, like I met the Coney legend, and I think I was like
King
13.
Coney.
Yeah, he was King Coney.
Coney.
Yeah.
And I asked him like straight up, like, and when I asked him, he looked at me like it was just some atrocity or it was blasphemous question. So I was like, all right, man, I'm sorry, but I mean, there's some really good Conies
Yeah.
with a lot more than hot dogs. So, but I would go to Lafayette before American. Next
Okay.
time you're in Detroit, you're my guest.
All right.
So.
Thank you. Thank
All
you
right.
for the
Now
for the
I
info.
want one. I've
Yeah.
been there, and I never even knew about this Coney thing until this show.
I can almost taste the chili.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. So I want to talk a little bit more about the production of the show.
Sure.
Like, do you have like a scene in particular that was just like a blast to shoot?
Or
me
your
and-
worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had I'll give you a good one, a bad one. Me and Mr. James Harvey Ward, who plays Michael, who was recently deceased, we had a scene where we had to carry these pigs from.
Oh yeah.
It was cut. It wasn't in it, and it was so much fun just holding these big ass pigs and knocking around, bumping into people with these pigs, and we got to chop a pig's head off, and none of it made it. But the worst was the arm getting fried, because that was when you read it, it's such a brilliant scene, but when you have to do it, it was just hot and stuff flying everywhere, and it was just like, we
Wait,
gotta
what
get
did
it
they
right.
stick your hand in?
Just grease.
It
Just-
wasn't like hot grease.
No, it was just a great,
Yeah.
great post,
Yeah.
but it was just one of those things a lot better written than done,
Yeah.
because
Right.
it was a pain, and it was stuff everywhere, and we had to get it right within a take or two, because we just couldn't keep doing it. It was just flying everywhere, but when you do those types of shows and films and et cetera, I mean, it's not fun to make. I mean, we're not doing a thing on an island where we're all in thongs, lemon thongs, and drinking, mojitos. I mean, it's
work.
it's Detroit. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what people want to see. So, you have to endure while you're making it,
Yeah.
to represent that type of life.
Totally.
Yeah. I feel like, too, there's a very interesting irony about Detroit and it recently filing bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And Hollywood is bringing so much production there. It's like one of the most rich, and the entertainment industry, like Hollywood, but you know what I mean? It's like they're bringing this into this place that's so run down. Sometimes I almost think it's like they're taking advantage of it in a way. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And like I know that they're putting money back in, and it's a good thing, but it's like it's kind of like being from Detroit. Do you have any like?
I mean,
feeling to it, or are you happy that they're filming that?
Before I really got busy in front of the camera and started getting busy with films and TV, etc., I was sort of a location kind of tour guide to some different, producers and production reps that had come out, and I would take them out to locations because I had a landlord-ing and real estate past. And for me, I could see what you're saying. I mean, that place has been so under and so behind for so long. You want anything, be it tangible, be it a factory, be it a new industry, be it tech, be it film. I mean, you want something happening. So I think the people are receptive to the incoming activity. But from Hollywood's perspective, let's face it, Hollywood's going to go where they got to go to get the project done. So if they got to recreate Paris and Mississippi or Toledo or Detroit or Atlanta or another hot one is New Orleans, they're going to go. I mean, it's about getting the money to make the film or the show. And the good thing though about Detroit, it really it's wide open. And I mean, when you try to compare like the landscape and land of Detroit versus like Chicago or New York, it's so much easier to get stuff done and to blow shit up and just there's not a lot of red tape. You can just make it happen. Right. So that's why it's kind of a win-win for both Detroit and Hollywood. And then also outside of Detroit, if you want country, if you want, there's such a great landscape outside of that city, and it's still relatively quick. Like it's just a very scenic, the suburbs and the UP and the water, and it's very diverse there. There's texture, there's flatland, there's hilly. So I think as long as the state keeps supporting this new industry, like you indicated with this new momentum of Hollywood coming in, I think there's something good there. And they should keep giving it a chance to grow.
Work is work, man.
Yeah, work is work. Absolutely. I mean, there's so many people that did well with Transformers, was just there for like 3 months, and I mean hundreds were working. And they built sets, and there was stuff that just wasn't there before. So. I'm all for it as a native Detroiter and a filmmaker. I mean, for sure, let it go. Yeah.
Totally.
I like that.
Now you can tell me if you can't answer this, but do you get to have any scenes with Mark or Lenny this season?
I do not, and I'm glad I don't, because those are two tough guys. But me and Miss Karkanis. Athena Karkanis, the lead,
who plays Danny.
Who plays Miss Danny Khalil. We have an interesting scene. So that's when the world.
Is she gonna try and make out with you too?
Yeah. Are you about to swoop in now that she's been dissed?
Us bald men,
Oh my God.
The worlds collide. So we do get a chance to cross paths, but they're just good actors. I mean, really, like that is just a deep show. I mean, everybody. I mean, from James Ronson to Sprague to Athena. I mean, everybody's just so good.
Everybody's killing it every week.
I mean, Lenny James is like, we're at a rap party and I pull him aside. I'm like, man, it's just like, it's like a joy to watch him work. Like he's just a next level actor. I mean, he's good. There's actors and there's artists, and like Mark Strong and Lenny James, like what you see, on screen is one thing, but actually getting an opportunity to see him do it, it was like, like I want to say like DVD extras, but in the physical form, for me. So, because I was a huge fan of Lenny James, and then just watching him in person was like, wow.
And it also just speaks to the quality of the material. That's that scene between Mark and the guy who plays Sean on the doorstep with the cat and the crack.
Trevor Long.
Yeah.
He's dope.
Unbelievable scene.
Yeah. Well, it definitely shows because everyone kind of has each other's back, and you guys create this safe space to really like let yourself go and be what you're there to be, which I think is a beautiful thing. I mean, that sounds a little corny, but like it really is. Like everyone's kind of just creating this space for each other.
The thing is, too, like this is a film that's essentially, it's chopped up over 10 weeks. Where this, you have like other cop procedurals like Law and Order, where it's like get them in, get them out, get them in, get them out. It's a cookie cutter. Where this is like you just said, it's just this I don't even know the word to describe it, but it's like, you know, we're all there and
Yeah.
we're all like trapped in Detroit, and it's like,
Like a dysfunctional family.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got to make it. you
Making
gotta make
this novel.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so some talented people. I mean,
Yeah.
in front of the camera, behind the camera, and you know, AMC doesn't mess around.
They
And
don't.
the thought of like Detroit as a landscape, I mean, it's good. You know, where like 187 was kind of PG, kind of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is AMC and its character, and Detroit, it's a special mix. Yeah.
Right.
Totally. Do you have any further questions for?
I do. I actually I read as well that you're working on your own project that you
Yeah.
wrote called Landlord.
Yeah.
And it's loosely based on
On your experiences.
you.
Yeah, we shot it. We shot
Yeah.
it. in
Really?
Tell us
March.
about that.
Well, we did the pilot for Low Winter Sun last year in September, and then you know, I had the script, and it essentially, yeah, it's called Landlord, and it's based on, I mean, loosely based on my early 20s, the landlord in Hamtramck, kind of an ethnic, diverse section of Detroit. And you know, I had these different scenes, and it was like, how can I get them all together about my experiences as collecting rent and dealing with the underbelly of society. And I think it was like downtime when I was making Abduction with Taylor Lautner and John Singleton. Singleton was like, you know, man, just write it, you know, and he was like, yeah, just write it. So it kind of got a light bulb going, and I wrote it, and it was just like draft after draft after draft, and I kept calling like my LA writer friends, like, how do you do this and how do you do that? And finally I got to a place where I felt, you know, was comfortable enough to present, and I had some interest from some Hollywood types, but I was never going to get it made on
Yeah.
a bigger scale,
Right.
and me be the lead. And you know, I'm a now kind of guy in a rush. You know, I'd lost so many years in Detroit and not in LA, whereas like, you know what, I got to make this. And so there was a little window after the pilot of Low Winter Sun where everybody that goes out on big jobs kind of comes back to their families in Detroit,
Yeah.
and they're off. So I knew the kind of the production landscape, and I knew I can get a lot of people for nothing. So we had a window like right before Low Winter Sun started, and we shot it. We did a lot for a little, and it's in post right now. The guy who did Street Thief, very critically acclaimed director Malik Bader, he did it, and we just did it our way. And it's dope. I mean, it's a really unique, fresh story, and it kind of demonstrates my voice as a Detroit filmmaker with no, you know, rules of a Hollywood development except writing Detroit dialogue, you know. So
Great.
That's really
yeah,
exciting.
we're cutting it, and it's going to be a dope little indie.
When do you think we'll be able to see it?
I think it'll start making the festival rounds like early year.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we'll
Can't
keep.
wait.
You
we'll
guys
keep
will be in the
posted.
loop.
Yeah.
Better
sure.
be in the loop.
Yeah. Please let us know.
Yes.
All
No
right.
doubt.
We unfortunately have to wrap up, but
talking too
we
much
just
over here.
No,
That's
No,
Detroit.
you're
no.
great.
You're fantastic. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for having
coming
me.
in.
Thank you
It
for
was
having
really,
me.
really awesome. We will be back on Sunday with the newest
Yes.
episode of Low Winter Sun,
Yeah.
so please come back for that. Steph Z, where can the people find you?
The people can find me on Twitter and Instagram at IAMSTEFZ.
Okay, and Nickola, where can the people find you?
At Nickola Shreli, NICKOLA SHRELI.
Fantastic. And you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MATTLIEBERMAN. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV on the Breaking Bad, Under the Dome, and Sons of Anarchy after shows. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you on Sunday.
Thank you so much for coming.
Peace.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.